Hello everyone. Today we are going to see a few problems related to hypothesis testing. First, let us see large sample 1 mean. So look at the example here. A survey done 10 years ago of CPAs, that is certified public accountant, in the US found that their average salary was $74,914. An accounting researcher would like to test whether over the years this average has increased or not. So important point to be noted is this one. An accounting researcher would like to test whether over the years this average has increased or not. Okay, a sample of 112 CPAs produced a mean salary of $78,695. Also given that the population standard deviation sigma is equals to $14,550. Now let us write down what is given to us, and let us decide what is the null hypothesis and what should be the alternative hypothesis. Now first, what is given to us? Given we have a sample of 112. So n is given to us, sample size is equals to 112. Then average mean salary. So for this sample the average is given. So we have the sample mean, which is equals to $78,695. Then they also have given the population standard deviation. This is not sample standard deviation, this is population standard deviation, which is equals to sigma. If it is sample standard deviation, we represent it by small s. Here it is population, so we represent it by the population parameter sigma, which is $14,530. Okay, so these three values are given to us and they are asking us to find if the average income has increased or not. Okay, now if you see, a survey was done 10 years ago of CPAs in the US, found that their average salary was $7,914. Okay, so now the average sample salary is 78,695. So we have to check if this value, the average salary value 10 years ago, has increased or not. Okay, so how do we check that? So basically, first step is to frame null hypothesis. Okay, step 1. So what are they asking us is, if the population standard deviation, population salary has increased, population average salary has increased $74,914 or not. Okay, so remember, every time you're writing a null hypothesis, use no there. It has not increased will be the basic null hypothesis. It has increased will be the alternative hypothesis. We try to accept alternate hypothesis most of the times, but let us see what happens in this case. So first is, we have mu, the average population salary, is less than $74,914. Okay, so if this is the null hypothesis, the alternate hypothesis H1 will be mu greater than or equal to $74,914. Okay, so what happens is, here we are saying that population salary has not increased. Here we are saying population salary has increased. Okay, so that is that, not, remember, not, it has not increased, that means it is less. Here in the alternate hypothesis it has increased. Okay, remember that. Then if you want to write it in words, you can write the same thing in words. The population salary is less than, has not increased $74,914. In alternative hypothesis, you can write it as population salary, average salary has increased and it is more than $74,914. So that is how, if you want to write, you can write it in words. Otherwise, you can use the parameters and write it like this. So in the same step, according to the procedure, we will also have to decide what is the type of test. Is it one-tailed test or two-tailed test? Now if you see, we need alternate hypothesis to decide if it is one-tailed test or two-tailed test. So here if you see, this is the symbol which is greater than or equal to. So that is why if it is greater than or equal to, in the normal distribution table, you have to, it should be towards the right hand side. This is the greater value. Okay, so it has to be a right tail test. It is one tail test, and in one tail test it is a right tail test. So we will use a right tail test here. Okay, because the rejection region will be towards the right hand side of the curve. So the first step is complete. Now coming to the second step, what are we supposed to do in the second step? If you remember the second step, we have to select the level of significance alpha. So in the question we have not been given level of significance, hence we will assume level of significance alpha to be 5%. So alpha is equals to 5%, that is 0.05. The critical region will be 0.05. So this critical region will be 0.05. Okay, now coming to the third step. Third step is to calculate the test statistic. Now we have to decide which formula has to be used. Now according to the question, we have been given a normal sample average, we have been given a population average, we have been given standard deviation of the population, and we have also been given the sample size. So for one mean, this is the formula. So use this formula and calculate the test statistic. Test statistic zcal is equals to x bar minus mu naught by sigma by root n, which is equals to, what is the sample average, is 78,694 minus what is the population average, 74,914 by the standard deviation is 14,530 by square root of 112. Let us calculate this value. Now the values have been entered in the calculator. If you see, this is how we enter. Then the value is 2.7531. So this is equals to 2.7531. Okay, so we have calculated the test statistic value. Let us see what is the next step in the procedure. If you see step 4, using the test statistic, level of significance alpha and type of test, obtain the critical value. So they are asking us to find out the critical value. Critical value is nothing but the tabulated value. Now let us find out the tabulated value in step 4. So to find out the tabulated value, we will need alpha. Alpha is given as 0.05, and we will need to draw a standard normal graph. Why are we using standard normal graph is, we are doing a z-test here. Always remember, for large sample we do a z-test, and for small samples we use a student t-test. Okay, and so let us start drawing the graph now. So here I am drawing a normal distribution curve, which is a bell-shaped curve. This is the value where mu is equals to 0, and it is a right tail test. Okay, now level of significance alpha is 0.05. That means the rejection region, this rejection region is 0.05. Alpha is equals to 0.05. So now what do we know is that this entire region is 0.5, and this entire region, the total area, is 0.5. Now if we want to find out this point from the graph, from the table, we have to deduct 0.5 minus 0.05. What will be the what do we get is 0.5 minus 0.05, we get 0.45. So let us see which value in the table corresponds to 0.45. So here in the table value 0.45, where is it starting? It is starting here. So the boundary is here. So that is 1.6 and 0.4. So you don't take the value greater than 0.5, you take a value a bit less than 0.5, 0.45. This is 1.6 here, and on the top we have 0.04. So this is 1.64. I hope you understood. 0.45 is the area that we want. So we have to take the corresponding values towards the row and the column. Okay. So here if you see 1.6 is towards your left hand side, and on the top the corresponding value here is 0.4. Okay, so 1.6 plus 0.04 is 1.64. So that is how we get the border. So this point is 1.64. This point, this area is 1.64. Okay, now plot. Now this is the z tab is equals to 1.64. Okay, now the finding or the critical value is done. It is 1.64. Let us find out what are we supposed to do in the next step. In the next step, compare the value of test statistic and critical value. Make the decision about rejecting or not rejecting the null hypothesis. Okay, last step, step 5. So in the same graph you plot the test statistic 2.75. Now where can I plot 2.75? 1.64 is less than 2.7. So if I want to plot 2.75, I have to plot it somewhere here, isn't it? So I have to plot it somewhere. It has to be somewhere here. So I am plotting it here, 2.7531. Okay, this is the region. Now okay, now this entire region is the acceptance region, and this alpha value is the rejection region. Okay, so this is acceptance region, and this is the critical region or the rejection region. Critical or rejection region. Okay, now since the value of the test statistic is falling in the rejection region, we reject the null hypothesis. Okay, if it is falling in the acceptance region, we accept the null hypothesis. If it is falling in the rejection region, we reject the null hypothesis, and we say that now this is false. We are rejecting null hypothesis, means it is, this null hypothesis is false. We cannot accept it. That means the only option we have is to accept the alternate hypothesis. Hence we are accepting that our population average salary has increased more than $74,914. Okay, therefore rejecting null hypothesis and accepting H1. What is H1? Average population salary has increased more than $74,914. So this is how you test using large sample 1 mean. We have finished the procedure. First we have decided, first we have decided what is null hypothesis and what is alternative hypothesis. In the procedure, in the same step we have also decided if it should be a one tail test, that is if it should be a right tail test or a left tail test or a two tail test. Then we have decided the level of significance. Basically we assume it to be 0.05, otherwise they give it in the question. Third step is to calculate the test statistic. So we have seen the parameters and we have decided which formula to be used. Then the next step is to decide what is the acceptance region and what is the rejection region. Rejection region is nothing but alpha, and we have to find out the critical value, that is Z tab, using the tabulated values. Now once we find out the tabulated value, we have to plot the test statistic value. If the test statistic falls in the acceptance region, we accept the null hypothesis. If it falls in the rejection region, we reject the null hypothesis. So that is how you test the hypothesis using the procedure. Thank you.